Hi, everyone. This is Melissa Anger. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We are going to kind of try to get through this pretty quickly so we don't take up too much of your time. So thank you all for joining us for the Flag Football preseason webinar. I'm going to go over a few things. Just so you guys all know, Zach Centron, who is another sports director, is also in the office with me. He is going to be moderating this call. So if you have any questions or if you raise your hand, Zach will be here to help answer those and help kind of stop me if need be and interject with questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in or raise your hand, and Zach will be there to help with that. So just what we're going to go over, a quick review of the agenda, go over some deadlines and dates, the events offered, how to qualify for the state competition, a review of the team assessment form, and then just some rule reminders and updates, okay? So it's going to be a quick, easy webinar. We have a lot of returning coaches. We have some new returning coaches. So again, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask questions. That is what this is for, okay? So first thing I want to start with is something that I've been pushing all season with you guys, and we started this in the spring with the coaches resource page. So there's a specific page just for flag football coaches. It has the rules, it has all the competitions, how to register for those competitions, dates, anything you need with the sport of flag football is on this page. It has sanction forms for the competitions. Coming up later in the season, it will also have the schedule for each competition on there. It'll have the schedule for Fall Fest, results of Fall Fest, anything you need to know, the event guide for Fall Fest, anything will be on this page. It's a great resource. Please, please, please use it. And again, I'll send out the link when I send out the review tomorrow. This webinar will also be posted on there. And you can see that you can sign up for the pre-competition webinar as well. So please make sure you do that. But you can sign up straight from that page. Just the registration deadlines. The 8/29 will be the training registration deadline. So that's anyone that is volunteering, a unified partner, a sport volunteer, a coach, an athlete, anyone that's training or coming to practices that is part of your team, even if they're not going to Fall Fest, needs to be sent, a whole list, a roster, needs to be sent to your area directors and area leadership to get that put into GMS, which is our games management system. Your area leadership will be able to help you with that and get that put in. But the training registration is due 8/29. Team assessment forms are due to me on 9/10. Okay, it's a little early, I understand that, but it's a couple days before the first competition date. So I want to make sure I have all of them so I can help Howard County make the best divisions and best matchups, especially for our new teams. This will help us with that. 9/10 is also the date for missing forms to be submitted. So this is, anyone has to have all their paperwork, has to be good through October 19th. Okay, this is very important. If it expires on October 18th, have to get all new stuff by this deadline. Okay, it can't be on the date that it's due. It has to be by this deadline to be turned in. Competition registration deadline is 10/3. You guys don't have to really worry about that unless you have individual skills. I will be entering all the teams into GMS. At that point, I'll send out a roster for you guys to double check and make sure I put it on the right team, because I am human. I might accidentally put you on the wrong team. Just let me know after you check it. I'll switch it. Easy switch. But let your area leadership know that I will be enter the athletes onto their teams in GMS. Okay? Just some dates for flag football competitions. Again, 9/10 are the training rosters are due to me. The first competition starts on 9/14, and then you can see they're every Saturday. Okay, so Howard County has been amazing. They got Troy Park in Elkridge, and that is the one, if you coached and had a team last year, that's where we had the required qualifier. It's a nice turf field up on the kind of on the hill. So we will have all competitions are there this year, not at Rockburn Park. Okay, so make sure the address of Troy Park is on the coach's resource guide page. Okay, 10-5 is going to be the required qualifier. That is where every single team must attend. That is for all teams. If you're planning to come to Fall Fest, you must have everyone on your team there. Cannot have anyone missing that qualifier. That is a very, very important one to attend. As I said, 10-8 is the pre-competition webinar. 10-19, that's a little bit out of date, but that's okay. 10-19 is Fall Sports Fest. Again, it will be held at Mount St. Mary's. And then finally, for those interested in the NERSA tournament, which is held at College Park every year, we usually have 2 to 4 teams that attend. They play against teams. We've had teams from North Carolina, Virginia, some from Chicago have come. So this is a really great opportunity for teams to come and play against other states. It's a lot of fun. There is a registration fee, so make sure you work with your area leadership prior to letting me know that you're interested. But let me know soon if you are interested, and I can get you guys registered for that. So flag football events. So in 2017, 2018, we grew by 4 traditional teams, which is amazing. The unified team stayed the same at 6. This year, I'm very, very excited. We're going to have a possibility of 5 to 6 new teams, which is amazing. We could have up to about 20 to 21 teams this year. That's the more than I think we've ever had. And it's amazing. We're growing the sport, and that's all we can really ask for. No one has signed up for individual skills the last couple of years. If you have someone that is interested in individual skills, let me know. We can definitely set that stuff up at the state tournament. That's for athletes that are a little lower, that can't necessarily play on a team yet, but want to do flag football. For teams, they have to be 16 or older to play. That's always been a rule. That's never going to change. Individual skills, they can be 8 and up. Okay? Play on a team, 16. Individual skills can be 8 and up. So that doesn't have an age requirement for that except 8. To be eligible, and I'm going to mention this multiple times, everyone must compete in 3 sanctioned qualifiers to be eligible for Fall Fest. So if you look at that list, it has to be the required qualifier plus 2 others. Okay, that's a really big thing. Your team has to come to 3 competitions this year, the same as last year. Coaches requirements. This, again, I've sent out multiple times. You guys have been really great about making sure you're getting trained for everything. All head coaches, every single one of the head coaches, must have a volunteer Class A background, protected behaviors, concussion training, coaching Special Olympics athletes, or coaching unified sports. So if you're a unified coach, you can take the coaching unified sports, and that will, again, count as your coaching Special Olympics athletes. If you coach a traditional team, has to be the coaching Special Olympics athletes course. You have to have all this. If you're not a head coach, if you are a head coach and you're missing something, your team is not eligible. Okay, I'm being very hard on that this year because I've given you guys 6+ months notice on all of this. And it is very important that you meet these requirements. This is just a graphic kind of to make it a little easier to understand what each level needs for as a coach or volunteer. Janet Larimore from Harrow County was nice enough to make this for us, and I think it's a really great tool to use. So make sure you go through this and see, okay, general volunteers need this, sport volunteers need this, and so on. So all coaches, sports volunteers, general volunteers, make sure all of those people have these requirements. Okay, this is very important, or they are not getting credentialed and they're not going to be part of your team. Code of conduct. You guys are really good about this, but I'm still going to reiterate it. I'm not going to read through all this. The gist of this is pretty much be respectful. Treat your athletes with respect. Treat your partners with respect. Treat other coaches and other teams and other athletes with respect. Okay, you may disagree on something and you may have something that you don't agree with. That is fine. But you will still treat people with respect. Okay? Big thing, and I mention it every year, Fall Fest, you will not yell at my officials. You know how territorial I am with my officials? You will not yell at them. They're there volunteering. They're there giving up their entire Saturday to help us out. At competitions and qualifiers throughout the season, it is very difficult for us to get officials. I understand that. I am trying my best to do that. Okay? Trying to get us some. If I can't get them, because it is very difficult to get flag football officials, I will need the coaches to help with that, again, just like we did in the past, either a coach or a family member, something like that, that knows the rules, that can be an official. You will not yell at them either. They are all learning. They are all volunteers. We treat everyone with respect, okay? That's a big thing. And again, you guys have all been great with it. I just want to reiterate this. So go through all these. Make sure you know this and understand it. When I send these out, it is very important. And I'm really going to be sticking to this coach's code of conduct. We also have an athlete code of conduct, a unified partner code of conduct, a volunteer code of conduct, and a family member code of conduct. Okay? Family members act crazy, they're going to get thrown out as well. Qualifying for the state tournament, obviously it's the same as this, and this is wrong. It is minimum of 3 sanctioned qualifiers. So you must attend 3 sanctioned qualifiers to be eligible for it. So you have to go to the required plus 2 others. Make sure all paperwork and training requirements are due on time. Please respect the deadlines, okay? You have a lot going on. I know you have a lot going on. I appreciate everything you do, but the deadlines are set for a reason, okay? And I will change this slide before we send it out as well. Again, qualifying competitions. I'm not going to go through all this. It's kind of just repeating everything that I've already talked about. So if you would like to host a qualifier, I know Howard County hosts one every Saturday, but if you would like to host something, that's fine. Just let me know. I'll help you get teams, and we'll go from there. Okay? But this is what it takes to run a qualifier. Team assessment form, everyone's favorite thing. So this is used for divisioning and matching teams based off of ability for mainly new teams to help give an idea at the beginning of the season. Once we see the teams and how they play, then we kind of don't use the team assessments as much, but it's a huge tool that we use in the beginning of the season to help with those matchups. Okay? Are all matchups going to be perfect? No. It happens. You just got to deal with it and play. Okay? A big thing, once they are sent to me on September 10th, that is considered your final roster for Fall Fest. You cannot add anyone. If someone gets hurt or leaves, let me know and I can scratch them. They cannot switch teams. So if you have multiple teams, they need to be set by September 10th. Because once September 10th comes, or once the first qualifier happens, you cannot switch teams. They are set at that point. Make sure you have that minimum of 8, max of 12, so that if people get hurt, you still have enough to participate. Okay? This is just the team assessment form, the summary page. So you can see I added a sports volunteer. If you need to change some of those assistant coaches to sports volunteers, that is fine. Go for it. But put on here, please fill this out completely. Don't just send me a roster with a lot of information missing. I need a full, complete assessment form filled out for everyone. All information, top, bottom, everything. needs to be completed. Okay? If you don't have jersey numbers, that's fine. When you send this to me, just make sure you get that to me before the first qualifier. This is the individual assessment form. So you take the scores from here and put them into the summary page. It's very easy to do. I don't need every individual form for each athlete or partner. I just need the summary page for everyone. And even so, athletes and unified partners all need to be rated. Okay, don't add just athletes on there. I need unified partner scores as well if you have a unified team. Team rosters, as I mentioned, the max team roster is 12 players. That's unified and traditional. You can't have 12 athletes plus 5 unified partners. 12 is the max. If you look at the rule book, it says 10 is the max. However, Maryland, we made it to 12 to kind of give you guys a little buffer if needed. The minimum roster size is 8. To start those season, you have to have a minimum of 8 athletes or partners, 8 participants total. During the games, you will have 5-on-5. For unified teams, you have 2 partners and 3 athletes on the field at all times. If a partner gets hurt and you only have 1 partner, then you're playing 4-on-5. And it's going to be 3 athletes and 1 partner. You cannot substitute an athlete in for a unified partner. That's completely against the rules and is not happening. If you need to go 4-on-5, that's what you do. But you must start the game with 3-2. Just going over some new rules that we learned about in 2018. We did these all last year. I just want to kind of refresh everyone's minds. Overtime regulations. All regulation rules and penalties are in effect. We start with a coin toss to determine the first possession. If we have multiple overtimes, which we have had in the past, it's going to alternate possessions until there's a winner. There's also 0 timeouts in overtime. So if you get to overtime and you had 2 timeouts left, you're not getting them. They're gone. There's no timeouts in overtime. Okay? Dead ball and fumbles. If a ball is fumbled forward, the ball is spotted where the ball carrier's feet were at the time of the fumble. So it doesn't matter where the ball ends. If it goes forward, it's where the feet of the carrier was. Okay? If the ball is fumbled backwards, it is marked where it hits the ground. Okay? Pretty simple, just kind of reiterating things. The Ravens Clinic. So this is the Play 60 clinic where the athletes actually get to participate. The times are tentative on this. The date is September 8th. The last couple of years it's been about 2 o'clock. We have everyone arrive at 12:30 to get on the buses. You must be on the bus to go. You can't just drive yourself to Ravens Training Center and expect to participate. You must be on the bus. We welcome, this is for athletes and unified partners. We can have up to 70 people for this. Plus, actually they usually allow 70 to 90. So we want as many people as we can. This is open to athletes, partners, flag football, no flag football. This is open to everyone, but you guys are getting first dibs at this. So make sure you send this out to your teams. I understand, and it is a Tuesday. I apologize for that. I understand that it is a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of the day, so it's difficult for people to get off of work, but it is an amazing day. It's so much fun that it's worth a day off of work, okay? When I send up the follow-up email, I will make sure I send the link to registration. I just haven't had the chance to set that up yet, but I'll do that first thing in the morning. And when I send out this webinar, the slides and the recording, I will make sure that it gets, the link will be on there as well. But again, amazing day, so much fun. Make sure you send it to your athletes and really encourage them to sign up. All right, so I know I went through that pretty quickly. Do we have any questions before we go to the resource page, or like the resources and references? Again, I know I went through that quickly. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. If you think of something later on and you want to bring it up, please don't hesitate to call, text, email. You guys all should have my cell phone number by now. Here's my email. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time. If you want to call me, please do it during work hours, preferably. If I'm not doing something else, obviously I will answer. But after hours, email or text is best. But I know you guys all have your day jobs and can't always talk during the day. I fully understand that, you know that, and I will always answer your call if I can, okay? But don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, especially new coaches. If you guys have questions or want some ideas for training tips and stuff like that, I can hook you up with one of our longtime returning coaches, and they are more than happy to reach out and help you guys with whatever's needed as well. You got a question?
Question is, this is Andrew and Nancy Schmidt wondering why we couldn't have an athlete. Why will this scroll down? Athlete. Why we couldn't have an athlete that's an athlete is somehow a partner is injured, keeps it 5v5. Just wondering on the philosophy behind that.
The philosophy behind that is unified. We want to make it as even as possible, and it is 3-on-2. Same as basketball, same as softball. You can't add in. I know that's a little 5-on-5 instead, or 5-and-5 instead of for 10. But we want to make unified. The purpose of unified is to make it as even and as inclusive as possible. So having that 3-and-2 ratio is where it needs to be. And that's what makes it unified. Having one partner out there doesn't really make it, I mean, it makes it unified because there's that one unified partner, but the 3-on-2 is what we really need to strive for to really make it the most unified we can. All right, so we're going to keep moving on. So these next couple of slides, I'm going to really go through these pretty quickly. It's just kind of the reference slides about forms and stuff like that, so you guys all know this, but still going to say it anyway. We say this every time, and it's very, very important. No athlete or volunteer may participate in any manner, even sitting at practice, in a Special Olympics Maryland program without a valid and current medical form or volunteer application. Okay? There is no exceptions to this rule. If you have an athlete that's new or needs a new medical, they must have the new medical before they participate. If it's expired, they cannot participate until they get that new medical. This is an insurance issue. This is a safety issue. If something is to happen to that athlete during practice and they don't have a current medical, then it makes it very difficult for the paramedics or the medical staff to help them. They must have that current medical. There's no exceptions to this rule, okay? Again, every athlete has to have all the pages signed. Everything is complete. With the medical application is valid for 3 years, which makes it really nice. Again, these are just some kind of acceptable credentials and stuff like that to help with the medical. These next couple of pages are just copies of the medical. I'm not going to go through all these pages because it's not really necessary. One thing I will say about the medicals is you really should, and it's actually, you really need to have a copy of every single medical on hand at every practice, at every travel, during the travel, at every game. Any time that you are with your athletes, you need to have a copy of their medical with you. It's just, again, a precaution just to be safe. So you have that. If something happens, then you have that, all the information right there for the medical personnel to have. It makes it helps them treat them a lot better. Volunteers, again, we've gone through all this. Everything needs to be completed. This is page 1 of the volunteer application. This is page 2. If they are under the age of 18, they must have this form completed in addition to the 2 other pages that you just saw. Okay, this is just an extra student/minor volunteer reference page that is needed if they're under the age of 18. Incident reports, whether it's an injury or a behavior or property damage, any kind of incident that may happen during practice, accident, not, whatever, an incident report must be filled out. This is what the incident report looks like. So the incident report must be filled out, sent to your area directors, and the area directors will send it on to the state office to the correct people. But this needs to be completely filled out for any incident that happens. Like I said, it could be an injury, it could be even a minor injury. This needs to be completed. Anything. Behavior issues, outbursts, a code of conduct violation, anything you think of that is an incident, this needs to be filled out. Okay? The most important thing is because it's for insurance issues. If someone gets hurt, which is the main reason these are filled out, this helps our insurance company help with the medical costs to help the athlete or partner out prior, because if they got hurt during a Special Olympics event, our insurance picks up before theirs does. So this helps our insurance company process all of that to make sure that their athletes or partner, whoever got hurt, isn't paying anything. That is the end of our slides. So we're going to open it up to questions again. If there's any questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand or type them in right now. All right. So since there are no other questions, I'm going to send this out tomorrow with the slides and anything, all the stuff I talked about. So I will send that all out by tomorrow sometime and post it on the coach's resource page, which I might actually just direct you to that, so that you have it with you, you know what to use. I just want to take a second to thank you guys so much for everything that you do. It's with your help that we are growing this program. And I think when I started, we had 12 teams, and we're up to 21 teams this year, which is amazing in that short time. So let's keep it up. Without you guys, definitely not happening. So you guys are all amazing, and I can't thank you enough. So again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys shortly at the first qualifier in a couple weeks. Thank you. Have a good night.